Okay, welcome to Kicking It with Kathleen. I'm here today with a contingent of our homeschool department and our homeschool parents to talk to them about their experience as a Springs Charter School homeschool teacher and parent and director. So we're going to talk today just have a round table conversation about homeschool issues. Okay? Okay. All right. So first thing is, so what are some of the benefits of homeschooling that you have discovered over your time homeschooling? I know, Carrie, I know that you've homeschooled before you became a teacher, and how does Springs help with that?
I'll go ahead and start. One of the benefits I see, and I see it especially this week as I've been talking to my families and looking ahead to next year, is that we can really personalize their learning for every student in their family, for their learning styles, for their interest, for academics. And so we can look at a variety of curriculum choices and take the state standards and yet help the children to excel wherever they are now, and really looking at making school meaningful, personal, and enjoyable for them.
Mm-hmm.
I like the flexibility of homeschooling because we can really still enjoy a lot of other enriching activities, and the flexibility also of education, you know, being able to incorporate things like art and music that my kids didn't have before when they were at public school. So
Right, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think also being able to disciple our kids and pour into them all this attention and time, and of course experiencing things together on field trips and experiencing the learning together as well.
Right. I agree. I think that some part of the experience of knowing what your children know, one of the biggest things as educators we know is activating prior knowledge is the biggest way to hook new learning in. And when a parent is doing the teaching, they really know what the children already know. Whereas, you know, when you're a teacher in a classroom with 30 kids, you're guessing. You know, you're guessing at what experiences the kids have had.
Well, as a homeschool, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
As a homeschool mom, I'm on my 8th year homeschooling,
Awesome.
so I have recruited a lot of families to homeschool.
Yes.
And, yes. And Jimena and I actually have a YouTube channel, Chips&Salsa Homeschooling.
Ooh, Chips and Salsa.
And I've heard from lots of families that maybe the husband was a little reluctant, but after just a few months seeing the change and transformation in their children are sold on homeschooling.
I have students even who homeschooled with us years ago emailing me now that are in college, and I want to cry, but they say, we are so successful today because of you coming alongside of our family and homeschooling in 7th grade and 8th grade years ago, before the difference that it makes in their kids.
Yes, the parents really are able to customize the day, down to the day, down to the minute. Oh, we know they, you know, were a little sick 2 days ago, so they're not going to perform excellently today. So we're going to do some other project-based things instead of, you know, dig into the math. They're able to really, truly, not just personalize, but customize, like down to the details of the day and the scheduling. And yeah, it's really amazing for students.
I talk to parents all the time who say, like, even those aha moments where they had taken their child out of traditional school or for whatever reason, and they say, I never knew this about my kid. Or, you know, they have those moments where, like, I didn't know they could read that well, or I didn't know that they knew all these history facts, or that they were really into this science concept or whatnot, you know. So it's powerful within the home, you know, to have that. And I know 11 years ago, I started homeschooling my kid, and it was even powerful for me as a credentialed teacher to have an education specialist come alongside of me, because often people are so scared they're going to screw their kid up. I don't know, I'm going to mess my kid up. I don't know if I could teach them. I don't know if I can do this. And it was powerful for me to have an ES as a credentialed teacher, because I was so emotionally involved with my kids, but now they came with a whole different viewpoint and vantage point, and then that collaboration together that you don't get in traditional school. It's so personalized, and it's just powerful. It's powerful for the parent, the family, the student. I mean, we would plan vacations around homeschool units. We're going to the beach. Oh my goodness, we're doing an ocean unit, you know, and we would just do fun stuff even on vacation that had to do with our homeschool experience, and so that's powerful.
And you really education became your life.
Sure.
It was everywhere
Right.
you went. You
Sure.
have a culture of learning.
Yep.
And that's actually what I miss the most now that my
True.
my own kids are no longer homeschooling, is that I miss that culture of learning that was always. We still have really great conversations, but it's not the same.
It is not.
that it
You're
was.
right.
Well, and that's one of the things too that's amazing about homeschooling is that the kids start taking ownership of their own learning. And I'll just get a ton of library books for the kids, you know, based on what we've been learning, and they just have at it, and they'll be reading, and they know more than I do now, you know, because they have loved learning on their own now. So even though it's not like, let's say what is our plan for the day, they're just constantly learning, and everywhere we go they're making connections, and you know, so it's pretty amazing. Yeah. Yeah.
One of the things we know that you have a lot of choices when you're, you know, out there. You can homeschool on your own with a private school affidavit or whatever it's called now. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Or you could homeschool through another school. One of the things that we went in our surveys, that when we give our homeschool parents surveys about what they like the best about our school, it's always 100% of the time they're ES. And so the education specialist is, you know, the heart and soul of our homeschool program. And you know, how important is it for you to have that time with your ES? How has that benefited you more? I will tell you one little story. When I was an ES way back, long ago, 20 years ago, I was visiting one of my new family's home, and she had homeschooled on her own for many years, and so we were talking about her curriculum, and she said, you know, I just don't understand why the 5th grade history book isn't written at the fifth grade reading level. She goes, I just don't understand why they don't do that. It just makes no sense that they write it at such a higher level than the kid can't read it themselves. So I said, I said, well, actually, it is written at the 5th grade reading level. And she was shocked. And she said, you mean these books, the kids should be able to read these books? Right. So my children are not reading at grade level.
Yes.
And I said, well, if they're not reading that, then they're not reading at grade level. And so she was upset, but by the end of the year, the kids were all reading at grade level. Mm-hmm. So having having a goal to shoot for, all that she needed to know was what should the standard be. Mm-hmm. And then her kids actually were able to meet it. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I just wondered if there was any kind of, any aha moment you've had with your ES, or how that synergy or that relationship has added value to your homeschooling experience.
Well, there's been many ways. I'm a rule follower. I like being held accountable. So I do like having somebody to show, hey, this is what I have planned. What do you, what do you think? But also, even encouraging me as a mom, because like you had mentioned, you feel like all this pressure on you, and you're like, am I going to make them successful? Are they going to be successful by the time they graduate? And I have a daughter who struggles with math and other things. She actually just recently, we don't need her IEP anymore. She had an IEP, which was awesome.
Wow.
And my ES, Erin, was so encouraging with that, and she always redirects me to like, no, but look at the progress, because I always look at results, but look at this, and she'd be like, no, but look at the progress, and look how much she's done and how much she's grown. And so that has been just key for me, to be able to really kind of relax and enjoy my daughter's progress, and really enjoy learning, and remember that it's more about teaching them the love of learning more than like, standards or grades.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
So,
Sure.
I think also my ES has helped me to stay connected, like to Springs and the different big events that they have going on.
Right.
She's also, I think, having like Miss Tiffany come over, really helps the kids. Like they want to, they want to show her what they've done. They want to impress her, and that's helpful when you're the only one always on the kids.
it's awesome.
Well, it's always good to have somebody else to, well, she would be very disappointed if you didn't.
I do use that line quite a bit. I'm going to have a talk with Miss Erin.
And we do have those talks often. I'll have parents email me beforehand and say, just so you know, so-and-so's been not doing this lately or been complaining about math, so can you kind of help me shore that up? And then we'll just have these one-on-one discussions like, hey, mom says this, what's going on? And, you know, when I come back, I want to see this. And just raising that bar of accountability is powerful too,
But even helping the students, especially the middle schoolers, I think you talked about this, Jimena, about taking ownership of their own education.
Sure.
And middle school math is really difficult for many of our students. So having that conversation when we come in, the parents usually do give us a heads up, you know, this is what we're struggling with, but having the conversation with the student, when do you think best? When do you work best? What can we do? Even in customizing your day so that when you try to attack math, you're at your peak. If this is the hardest thing for you, what can we do? And getting the student to take ownership of even that little conversation so that they go, okay, this matters. What I choose, when I choose to do math, how I choose to do math, whether I eat the cookies and the cupcake or if I eat a real breakfast and or go, you know, run up and down the stairs 3 times before I start math. Just doing some tricks to help them to be successful. Doesn't always work every time, but it starts a pattern with them.
Well, and just that, getting some advice from outside is super helpful.
Well, troubleshooting, having somebody there that cares as much about your child's success, or almost as much as you do, because you know, ultimately, you know, in fairness, some spouses are not supportive. Some family members, you know, maybe your mother or your uncles and aunts or whatever, are not supportive. And so you really can't go to them with your problems because they're already not supportive necessarily. And so, you know, having somebody where you can troubleshoot those things, I think it's like a kind of like a, you know, kind of a coach.
And the ES is visiting many families, so they see many families trying different strategies with their kids. What's working, what's not working, would this work for this child? That's a good
The
resource
job is so
to have.
unique that, you know, I tell parents all the time, your student's on my roster, but mom, you're on my roster too. Because if you're not successful, there's no amount of instruction you're gonna do that's gonna get your kid through 3rd grade, you know? And so, you know, just, I've been on the other side of the kitchen table of tears and, you know, I can't do this anymore. And, you know, and like, you're just like, okay, we're done planning. It doesn't matter. Here's what you're doing tomorrow. You know, you're going on a field trip. You're going to the park. You're going to go have fun, you know, like, and you just, like you said, like a coach is a great word for our job with the parent, you know, and just partnering them in that. And, you know, I tell them all the time, Amal, your first freak out moment is a phone call to me. Like, it does not need to be call your husband. It does not need to be call the local school and transfer. Like, your first phone call needs to be to me. Like, call me. I will talk you off the ledge. I promise. You know, because it is, because I've been there. I've been there. You've been there. You know, and I think that is one of the best things about my job because I've been on both sides. And I know I had moments where I was like, I can't do this. This is crazy. I can't be with them 24/7. I need space. You know, but I had parents talk me off the ledge, and ES talk me off the ledge, and so having that support, it's just so unique. It's such a unique system that you don't really find anywhere else.
I even go further than that with the team kind of idea, is that every time I have a new family on my roster, on my next email that I send to the whole group, I say, welcome to our homeschooling team, and I really call them a team. I get the parents together.
Nice.
I introduce them. I have 3 or 4 events during the year that they're all invited to, so that they will encourage each other. And it's so fun when I go see something happening in the kids' lives on social media, and half of our team has already been there and commented and cheered the kids on before, because they are developing those relationships, which,
community.
like, you know, it matters, right? To have this community.
Well, and also the wealth of information that they share. You know, like, she basically helped us design we have a book club, like, co-op that we do, and my ES, like, gave us a bunch of book suggestions, and we basically kind of chose them one by one, and then we discussed it with Dee Dee, and they've been amazing. We're on our last book, and
What are
it's
you
just
reading?
been amazing. Number of the Stars. So that just having that that knowledge, you know, that she was, you know, you guys have so much more experience and knowledge.
Well,
in that
sometimes
area, too.
I remember a parent saying to me, you know, I sat with him, we worked on this, he knew it, and then the next day he did not know it. And the child was 5. Okay. So I was like, and I said, so how, and she's like, we sat at the table for an hour and a half, and he knew it by the time he left that table. And I said, well, that first of all, let's, talk about 5-year-olds, and I wouldn't even test anything. I used to be a kindergarten teacher, and I wouldn't test anything till 100 days, until 100 repetitions. That is the way little children learn. It's so just having somebody who may have been in a classroom with especially with that age group is very helpful, because most children are not that far off the norm. There is a general understanding of how learning occurs, and so it helps to make it less personal. You don't take it personally. See, as a teacher, if the child doesn't learn it, you don't take it personally, but I think as a parent, maybe you take it personally, because this is your child, and
and their success is mine, success, right?
Genetics,
Yes. And why is he not reading November of his kindergarten year?
But you also have parents that say, I just can't teach him, because they've had that experience. So then the parents, so they may not blame the child, or they may take ownership and then quit, right? So trying to have a balance in there of right, let's do it at different
for sure. Anyway, all right, well, thank you, ladies. Thank you so very much. I think we've had a very expansive conversation about homeschooling, a lot of different areas, and I appreciate you coming in to be on our panel today. And I would like to say goodbye until next time to all the folks out there. Bye.